Whether or not something is reasonable almost always depends on the totality of the circumstances. Here's what we're talking about today. So, the prosecution begins by laying the circumstances through which the police got involved. So, the fire department rolled out on this call, and of course, most of the time when the fire department rolls out on a fire alarm call, the police go with for a number of reasons: to direct traffic, to ensure access to fire hydrants, if they need to get a car towed or moved or just pushed out of the way, any number of reasons for the police department to show up. So, in this case, the fire department got there first, the police got there second, and the person who was doing or leading the investigation for the fire department was a captain. Or he's now a captain. At the time, he was a lieutenant. And he talked to Melissa Perez, the woman that the police officers would later shoot. And the prosecution led him through a number of questions, and most of them don't seem particularly relevant to the case. But you judge.
The jury, where we last left off, state, we were at your direct.
Yes, Your Honor. State's going to publish State Exhibit number 5.
Are you cut the wires again? You're trying to fix it, or?
No, stand down, baby girl. It's not trying to fix the wiring.
Yeah.
It's when I've already gone around the complex and investigated, and then you see a whole bunch of wires coming through the building and the plugs.
Right.
And then I found 14 batteries that were not connected.
Oh.
So what they were gonna do is they were gonna connect all the wirings to the mishap to the rest.
So what did you do with the wires that you cut? Did you take some?
I didn't take them. Those are
That's
wires.
what I've been using.
Those are wires from the last time that
Oh.
I was
So
investigating.
you just cut these in half?
I just cut them off, but I'm gonna tell you something. I went into my pocket and it's more quiet.
Oh, because you cut the wires?
Yeah, because I've been.
And so, Captain Hudson, so that was the video that you recorded of the woman that you spoke to at that scene.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yeah.
And not long after this, San Antonio police arrived.
Correct.
And I believe you stated earlier you told the officer about kind of what your interaction with the woman had been. Is that correct?
Yeah, not too many specifics, just, yeah. That she had cut the wires, admitted cutting the wires, and that she had some psych issues.
And you were present whenever that officer spoke with her. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were there, just a little bit, maybe a few feet away, in our own little group.
And was she willing to speak with that officer?
She wasn't as open with him as she was with us.
But she was still communicating with him.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Yeah, she had conversation with him. Yeah.
And were you involved in the conversation much?
No, not at all, that I can remember.
Now, at some point, did they walk away from you?
Yeah, I heard him ask her to follow him, I think, back to his car, and then the second officer arrived, and they said that they got it, that we can leave, and they started to walk her back to the car, I believe, and then one of my guys said, "Oh, she took off," and so I turned around and looked, and I saw one or both cops chasing. She was already out of my view, around the corner of the building, or
Now, where did she run off to?
inside her apartment.
Now, in that segment, we get to see from body camera Melissa Perez, and we get to evaluate her, and she doesn't look stark raving mad, right? She looks like she might be a little upset, perhaps has some psychosomatic symptoms. Maybe she's a little bit off, but she doesn't look peculiarly crazy. So I think that's the point from the prosecution standpoint that they want to make. They want to make, hey, look, this is a nice lady. She's just going about living her life, and all of a sudden she's going to be a victim here. The defense, as always, they get a shot at this too. And in their shot at it, they make some killer points here.
I got nothing.
How's it going?
My name's Jason Goss. I represent all three of these officers in the hood. I guess first of all, congratulations on your promotion.
Thanks.
Yeah. I want to talk and just kind of get started on that night. So I want to talk about a fire alarm, like the fire alarm that you saw that night, right? The fire alarm you were dealing with.
Mhm.
Can you tell me what's the purpose of it?
The purpose of our response or the
The
alarm?
purpose of the fire alarm.
Just to notify the residents of potential smoke or fire in the building.
Right. And so an alarm like that, and you talked about residents. Could you kind of see how big this apartment complex area was?
I mean, I've dealt with that one building. I wasn't familiar with that complex, but the building maybe had, I don't want to lie, but maybe 8 to 12 units.
Okay.
Wasn't too big of a building.
So the building had 8 to 12 units, and did that fire alarm box, did that work just for that building with
Just for
those
that,
units?
yeah, just for that building.
Other buildings had other individual fire alarm boxes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 8 to 12 units. You have, and I guess you wouldn't know if all the units were filled or not,
Right.
but if they were filled with families and everything else, you're talking about dozens of people.
I'm going
Correct.
to object to speculation.
Speculation. But if they were, you're talking about dozens of people, if they were.
Correct.
Now, this fire alarm system, because one of the things the prosecution didn't really go into with you is like what cutting the wires does to it. So what wires were cut specifically, and what did that do to the system?
Well, I'm not a alarm tech, right? It's the wires coming out of the wall, presumably through all the detectors or whatever kind of, or sprinkler, or whatever is connected to that alarm going into the
I'm going to
panel.
object to this testimony. It's outside of his expertise. He said he didn't know the system.
Well, all I'm asking, he has to go and check this system. All I'm asking is his basic knowledge. I'm not asking anything more than that.
All right, you can rephrase.
Okay, so, I mean, because you were a lieutenant at the time, captain now, I mean, when something like that goes off, and that's happened before, right?
Right.
And when something like that goes off, you were one of the people at that time that would respond to it.
Right.
Right? And one of the things you would do is you check these boxes frequently.
Right.
How many boxes do you think you've checked in your career?
Hundreds?
Hundreds. And so I'm not asking necessarily if you're like an alarm tech that can tell me exactly, but just the basics that you would have for your job to understand like what is wrong, try to do a diagnostic and try to evaluate what the problem is. You have that knowledge.
Yeah, rudimentary, right?
Rudimentary. Right. And really that comes from your experience. You've been looking at all these boxes, hundreds of boxes over your career.
Correct.
Okay. So that's really all I'm asking. You know that box and the purpose of that box is to, as you said, sprinkler systems. That's what usually is connected to that box, right?
Could be, yeah.
And sprinkler system is a form of fire suppression. So if a fire starts and it's detected, the sprinkler system would try to suppress that fire.
Correct.
All right. And also you said it says like warning, like it serves as a warning to the residents of the apartment complex that there is a fire,
Yeah, potential.
a potential fire.
Correct.
And as a firefighter, I guess are you also a paramedic or EMT?
Paramedic, yeah.
Paramedic. And that's pretty common with, I guess, all firefighters.
Everybody's in the department is at least a EMT basic.
Okay,
And
so and an EMT, what does that stand for?
emergency medical technician.
And the difference is you would ride on an engine, and then maybe some who just specialized paramedics would maybe ride on an ambulance.
Right, it's rank specific for our department.
Okay,
Engineers are on the ambulance.
all right. So have you ridden on both?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I guess what I want to get to is that so you know that this box is important as a warning sign and a potential fire suppression system for the people that live in that complex.
Correct.
While it may seem like the defense attorney is doing more of the what in the world, why does this matter kind of thing, it has a point. And the point is to show what exactly is at stake here, what the officers know to be at stake. And He goes even a little bit further because the captain here is apparently a friendly witness, and he's giving him pretty much everything that he's asking for. Watch.
Do you know? I mean, in your experience in going out there, these apartment complexes, do most of them have some kind of system like this?
Pretty much all of them, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, being able to have that technology, it would be incredibly foolish to put a bunch of people together and have them all living next to each other and not have a system such as this.
Correct.
All right. So when you went out, and I think what you said is that the woman that you encountered had cut the wires, or she told you she had cut the wires on the box.
Right.
And you said they were asking about the fire alarm sound. So cutting the wires itself, does that cause the system to go off?
You can.
All right. And did it go off in this situation?
It did.
Okay. And the you kind of said it was real loud, intermittent burst of noise, but like, is that something that everybody can hear?
Everybody in that building, yeah.
Would that have been going off in their apartments?
Yes.
Okay. So when that happened at 11:30 at night, on that night, everybody who lived in those apartments was hearing an alarm go off.
Should have been, yes.
Should have been, because you could hear it.
Yeah.
And the were people coming outside in response to that alarm?
Yeah, when we got there, it was, I don't know if it was everybody, but a lot of people had evacuated into the front of the building parking lot.
So they all had to evacuate at 11:30 at night.
Right.
That's right. Presumably some were asleep at 11:30 at night and had to wake up and get their kids and their dogs and whatever else and go outside.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. So the and then you said you were able to. Oh, and I appreciate that you did this. Even though you were coming and assumed that it probably wasn't a fire, you still checked to make sure.
Right. Yeah.
And one of the things you check is, because you have a fire alarm that goes off, or maybe a fire in one building, but as you know, depending on wind conditions and everything else, this is your expertise, but depending on wind conditions, everything else, a fire here can jump somewhere.
Right. Correct.
In apartment buildings, that can happen. It frequently has happened.
Right.
So building to building to building to building, unless hopefully somebody like you and the people that do your job come and suppress that fire or stop it from spreading.
Right.
Okay. So you said you were able to silence the alarm, but couldn't reset the panel because of the wires.
Correct.
Okay. So how were you able to silence the alarm?
There's just a silence button on the panel that you can hit to, like, once you've made sure there isn't anything, you can silence it for the residents. They can start going back in.
Okay.
And as you might imagine, the defense attorney pointed out that silencing the arm does not obviate the condition of there being no way to detect fires and no way to suppress them. It just turns off the loud noise so people can go back to sleep. And again, if you're a smart juror, you realize now that the risk to the other people in that apartment building is greatly magnified by this action. So you can see it constituting a serious felony, because you're putting people's lives in jeopardy. So this is part of the strategy of the defense here to paint the officer's conduct as reasonable, because there was a heck of a lot at stake. There was a homeless, bedridden man in this apartment. They'll probably get to that later. But the defense attorney here is doing a really good job of putting all of the acts into context. But just wait till he gets to the point where he's putting the investigation on trial. I'm pretty sure that's coming in a little bit. But that's what I have for you right now. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here today. If you have the opportunity today, try to do one kind thing to help somebody else. Any kind thing will do. Buy somebody a Coke. Get them a cup of coffee. Anything that makes their day better. That would be a way to help make the world a better place. Because after all, isn't that what we're all after? Now, YouTube has a few things that they think you might be interested in, and they're going to be showing you that right up there.